Hello everyone, welcome to today's session. Today we are going to see class 12 biology chapter 7 human health and disease. In that we are going to see AIDS. So have you heard the word AIDS before? What does AIDS actually stand for? So let's break the word into four parts. A is acquired. So what does acquired mean? So it means something that is gained during our lifetime. So AIDS is not a congenital disease. So it is not present from the birth. And I stands for immuno. And immuno remind you of immune system. So we are talking about the body's defense system. And D it stands for deficiency. So deficiency means a lack or weakening. So the immune system it becomes progressively weakened. And the S is syndrome. Syndrome means a group of symptoms occurring together. So when we put everything together, AIDS is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Now, you tell me who causes AIDS? See, the causative agent is HIV. HIV, human immunodeficiency virus. So, this HIV virus, it belongs to a group of viruses called retroviruses. Group of viruses called as the retroviruses. And it has an envelope, okay, and a RNA genome. And it was first reported in the year 1981. So children don't memorize all these things, children. Yeah. And then in about 25 years, it spread worldwide and it killing more than 25 million people. How HIV spreads? So now we know that AIDS is, but how does HIV infection spread? It spread by four important routes. One is first one is the sexual contact. So HIV can be transmitted through sexual contact with an infected person. And next is the infected blood. So if contaminated blood or blood products are transfused, HIV can be transmitted. That is why blood used for transfusion it needs proper screening. Yeah. And next one is sharing the infected needles. So sharing needles which is contaminated with this HIV, it can transmit the virus and also among the intravenous drug abusers also. And then from mother to a child. An HIV infected mother can transmit the infection to her child through the placenta. So what are the four routes? One is the sexual contact, infected blood, shared infected needles and also from mother to child. And then one extremely important thing for your exam point of view, HIV or AIDS does not spread by ordinary touch or physical contact. So we should not isolate or reject a person simply because they have HIV or AIDS. So they need proper medical care and support and understanding. So next we are going to see how HIV attacks the body. See what actually happens after HIV enters the body. So let's imagine HIV as an intruder entering the immune system. Yeah. So now HIV enters the macrophages. You can see here also. Yeah. HIV it is yeah enters the macrophages and the virus contains the RNA. Virus contains RNA, right? But the virus needs to make DNA. So it uses a special enzyme called reverse transcriptase. What it uses? Reverse transcriptase. So this enzymes helps to produce the viral DNA from viral RNA. So RNA to DNA. Okay. So now what happens? This viral DNA it becomes incorporated into the DNA of the host cell. Yeah. DNA of the host cell. And the infected cell is then directed to produce new virus particles. So what happens? So the macrophages it keeps producing more and more viruses. Okay. And we can say this macrophage it acts like an HIV factory. Yeah. But HIV has another important target also, that is nothing but our helper T lymphocytes. Helper T lymphocytes. So the new viruses are released and they attack the other helper T cells. So the cycle is continuous. This is continuous cycles. Then what happens? See the number of helper T cells it progressively decreases. It progressively decreases. And then so because of its decrease there is an important part, yeah, in our immune defense. So when the T cells decrease means what happens? Immunity also decreases. Yeah, when the T cells decrease, immunity also decreases. So body becomes vulnerable to infection. So the persons may experience symptoms such as fever, diarrhea, weight loss, and infections that the body could normally be able to overcome can occur. Okay. So HIV, RNA, so it is using the reverse transcriptase. It is forming the viral DNA. So enters the host DNA. New viruses, yeah, they are formed, and then helper attacks the helper T cells. So because of the helper T cells decreases, and the immune system becomes weak. So next is the diagnosis and treatment. Now imagine a person has become infected with the HIV. Can we immediately see HIV symptoms there? No, not necessary, right? See, there is a time lag between the HIV infection and the appearance of AIDS symptoms. Okay, so maybe it usually it will be around 5 to 10 years. Yeah, it will be around 5 to 10 years. So diagnosis is extremely important. So how to diagnose? See, ELISA comes here. ELISA is widely used for diagnosing the AIDS. So what is ELISA? ELISA is nothing but the enzyme-linked immunosorbent assay. Okay. So HIV, it is attacking the macrophages and the helper T cells, and the number of helper T cells progressively decreases. So as immunity becomes weaker, the body becomes unable to fight the infections and that you would normally overcome. Okay. So what happens, these infections after sometimes it is described as opportunistic infections. And what about the treatment? See, we can use this antiretroviral drugs. Okay, they are only partially effective and can prolong life, but they do not provide a cure. They can prolong the life, but they do not provide a cure. So next we are going to see the prevention and the social awareness. So this is a very important thing. So if AIDS has no cure, then what is our best weapon? Best weapon is nothing but prevention. Yeah, how can HIV transmission be prevented? By means of safe blood, right? So blood from blood banks, yeah, it should be properly screened to make it safe from HIV. And disposable needles and syringes. So only safe disposable needles and syringes should be used in hospitals and clinics. And also safe sexual practices. So awareness and safe sexual practices helps to reduce the transmission. And control drug abuse. So sharing the infected needles is an important route of transmission. So controlling drug abuse is a part of prevention. And also regular testings and checkups. So regular checkups are very important. So particularly for people at increased risk. Yeah, now let us talk about the awareness. So when we take our India into account, NACO, yeah, National AIDS Control Organization, yeah, and also NGOs, they work to educate the people about the AIDS. And the WHO, that is World Health Organization, they also run programs aimed at preventing the spread of HIV. Yeah, but prevention is not only about medicine, it is also about attitude. See, a person living with HIV or AIDS should not be unnecessarily isolated or rejected. They need help, they need support, yeah, they need a sympathy. So don't die of ignorance, don't die of ignorance. Okay, so knowledge and awareness are powerful tools in preventing the HIV transmission. So let's have a quick revision, children. Let's see in the form of some question and answers. So what is the full form of AIDS? Can you tell me? Is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. And AIDS is acquired or congenital? Is acquired. And what causes AIDS? HIV. So HIV belongs to which group of virus? Retrovirus. See, I have given you all the videos. I have given you all the important points over here. Go through all these things. Yeah. These questions are not here, but you try to answer when I ask you questions. Okay. And what is the genetic material of HIV? RNA. And name the enzyme that helps HIV make DNA from RNA, that is reverse transcriptase. And which cells are important targets of HIV? Yes, macrophages and helper T lymphocytes. And what happens to helper T cells numbers? They progressively decrease. And what happens to immunity? It becomes severely weakened. And what is the diagnostic test? ELISA, ELISA. And what type of drugs are used in treatment? Antiretroviral drugs. Is there a cure? According to our book, no cure, but life can be prolonged. And what is the best option for AIDS is prevention. And what organization works for AIDS awareness in India? NACO, NACO. So possible questions, one more questions I have given you is watch the full video. If you have any doubt, yeah, you can ask me in the comment box. Yeah, we'll see you in the next class. Thank you.